wrong one. Hold on. All right, we're live. We're live and in person. How's everybody doing? We have a lot to cover tonight. A lot to cover. Y'all will not like me by the end of the night. So I go ahead and apologize in advance.
I can tell, I can tell them, I got a bunch of pencils, and I'm just gonna give them out to them so they'll know what they want to remember.
Well, there's pens right there. They could use that. Okay. Anybody got any birthdays? Any shout out to birthdays you want to give us? Anybody got a birthday today? No birthdays today? Okay, well, I got a few for you. In fact, today.
It's Pam Leafy's birthday today.
Pam's? Okay. Yep, Pam Leafy. Is she here tonight? I didn't look in. I didn't see her beforehand. Okay, it's a different kind of night, so I just didn't see her. But well, happy birthday to Pam if you're watching. You share birthdays with a few other folks. In fact, there's a lot. Last week was a slow news day. Today is a big news day. So we have a lot to cover. So need to hurry up and get through with this. All right. So got several birthdays of people that you may know, you may have heard of. On this date in 1878, happy birthday to Joseph Stalin. So, yeah, Joseph Stalin. He born on this date, 1878, died in 1953. I didn't realize, I guess, that he made it that far past World War II. This date in 1886, happy birthday to Ty Cobb. Ty Cobb. Y'all know where he was born? You know, the baseball player. Everybody. You know where he was born?
I heard that. Milledgeville?
No, it was not Milledgeville. No, it was in the state of Georgia. You're in the right state, which I wasn't sure if anybody would know, but he was born in Narrows, Georgia. And Narrows is up near Rome, Georgia. So anyway, 1943, most of y'all don't care about this at all, but happy birthday to Keith Richards. Y'all know who he is, the guitarist for the Rolling Stones? I mean, golly, the guy, he looks like he's 150, but how he's made it this long, I don't know. He's still alive today. He's 81 today. 1946. What?
That's not so old.
No, he looks like he's. What did I say? What?
What? You just said 81.
No, but he looks like he's 150. I mean, he's on up there. But also on this date, happy birthday to Steven Spielberg. Lots of big movies. But he turns 78 today. He was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. Also on this date, it is Brad Pitt's birthday. And we talked about this in the practice round. Anybody have a guess as to how old Brad Pitt is? 53. That is exactly what, oh no, she said 54. That's what Candace said in the practice round. No, Brad Pitt is 61. I had no idea. Yes. But anyway, if you're into wrestling, maybe you're not, but maybe you know Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's his birthday today, and he was born in 1964. He's older than I am too. He's 60. He was born in Austin, Texas. So I wonder if that's even his real name, or if he just took on the name where he was born. I don't know. But anyway, he's born in Austin, Texas, 1964. Looking at the crowd in here, I don't know who's going to be watching. I doubt y'all care about anything about this if you even know who they are. But it's on this date in 1980 that Christina Aguilera was born. So she's 44. She's born in Staten Island. And then even more recent, 2001, Billie Eilish. She's another singer, in case you don't keep up with that. She sings very slow, very quiet. But anyway, Billie Eilish was born on this day. She's 23 years old, born in Los Angeles. A few deaths on this date that I thought I'd point out. On this date in 1919, John Alcock died. You might be thinking, well, who's that? He was an English pilot and he was the first pilot to make the first nonstop flight across the Atlantic Ocean. So, shout out to him. But interestingly enough, he died in a plane crash at age 27. So he was just a youngin'. 1971, on this date, Bobby Jones died, the great golfer. I don't want to even pronounce what this was. Anyway, he died at age 69. The next year, 1972, okay, no matter what your political position may be, kind of sad to know that it was on this date that Nelia Biden died. You might recognize that name. It was the first wife of Joe Biden, and she and her daughter and their daughter died in an automobile accident. And it was just days before he was supposed to take office as the senator of Delaware. And so anyway, she died on this date, or they died on this date in 1972. More recent, if you were into comedy, and maybe not because it was just Saturday Night Live, but on this date in 1997, Chris Farley died. He died of a drug overdose. He was only 33. Probably more well known to y'all. 2000, at least those in the room. Again, I don't know who's watching. 2006 on this date, Joseph Barbera died. Hanna-Barbera, cartoonist. He is the one who created Tom and Jerry. He created the Flintstones and all that. But he was 95 years old when he died. And then also, y'all remember 2016, it was on this date that Zsa Zsa Gabor died. And she was 99 when she died. So anyway, lived a long time. A few things that happened, a few events on this date. In 1796, it was the first U.S. newspaper to appear on Sunday on this date, 1796. It was the Baltimore Monitor. Also, 3 years later, 1799, George Washington was buried at Mount Vernon. Ladies, y'all should appreciate this because, again, it was a little bit further slow-moving ball that was rolling here in America. But on this date in 1839, John William Draper took the first photograph of a female face that was made in the United States. So, get a little bit of recognition. Okay, quick question for you. Trivia. What is the most performed ballet in the world? It was the Nutcracker, yeah. And it was on this date in 1892, it premiered in St. Petersburg, Russia. So,
Who knew that?
well, she just knew it was the Nutcracker was the most performed ballet in the world. In fact, all my ladies went to go see it just this past weekend. So anyway, 1917, the 18th Amendment to the Constitution was passed. What did that cover? 1917. What was it?
1970.
No, it's not about women. This one's not. No, this was prohibition. It's passed. So anyway, yep, no more alcohol. Didn't last very long, did it? I thought this was pretty interesting because I did not know it went in this order. But on this date in 1963, the movie Pink Panther premiered. With Peter Sellers. And then the very next year, in 1964, on the same date, the cartoon version of the Pink Panther premiered on TV. So anyway, thought that was interesting. 1966, speaking of premieres, Dr. Seuss, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, showed on CBS for the very first time. Two more things that I thought were interesting. Another one having to do with Christmas productions. On this date in 1984, A Christmas Carol with George C. Scott premiered in the United States. Now, I know it wasn't the first version of A Christmas Carol, but in my opinion, it's the best. So I had to bring it up. Anyway, George C. Scott. I didn't realize it was that late. I thought it was older than that. But anyway. And then the last thing, in 2011, on this date, the last U.S. troops left Iraq, ending the Iraq War. So, There you go. Told you it was a lot. But hey, I got through it faster today than I did last week. Look at the time. Okay. If you don't like me, if you don't dislike me enough, let me give you more reasons. Today is going to be our last Wednesday night Bible study of the year. We won't be back again for another 3 weeks. And so we just finished last week Revelation chapter 13. And so it'd be weird to start something new, you know? And I've done a recap. I've done recap after recap after recap. Y'all have to be sick of recaps. Feels like we just got back from summer break. It's not true, but it feels like that. And I did a recap right before we left, and I did a recap right when we got back. Recap. So I thought, what am I going to do tonight? It would be different. And so, I'm thinking, hey, we're a little over halfway finished. And what kind of fun things do we do when we don't have something else to do?
Give us a test.
I have a test. I have a test. But it is not the Christmas quiz. I have given the Christmas quiz, I don't know, since I've been here this is my 7th Christmas. And in various locations, I've probably given it about 6 times. Y'all have seen that a few times. I need to give y'all a year to forget. Maybe we'll do that again next year. Unless y'all kick me out of here or God takes me home, whatever the case. So I have a halfway-ish through Revelation Fun Times quiz. That's the name of it. And so I'm going to give each one of y'all one. For those of you who are, I guess you can't. Just you over here by yourself. You got to do it by yourself. All right. For those of you who are watching at home for your viewing pleasure, just stick around a little bit. Oh, wait, I need one. I need a copy myself. Just stick around a little bit because I'm going to tell you what the questions are. And y'all can figure those out. Now, here is what I want you to do. For those of you who are in the room, my preference would be, because you're only going to have like 15 minutes at most to do this, because we're going to have to hurry. In fact, what I'll do is I tell you what, while they're working on it in here, I will read it to you, for those of you who are watching at home. And then you can write down some answers or whatever. But here's what I would prefer for those of you who are in the room. And I think this would make this go better tonight. Is if you start at the end and work your way to the beginning. And the reason why is the ones at the end don't have a right or wrong answer. They are your opinion. And so I can give you the answers to all the rest of them. And I will before it's all over with. But what I can't do is I can't tell you what your opinion is. So, start at the end and then go wherever you want to. Work your way back up the front, if you want. The first part is the easiest part. The first section, the first 5 questions, I think, are kind of the easiest ones. And so you can do the last ones first, and then you can go to the start at the beginning, or however y'all want to do it after that. I'm fine. I'm good. But anyway, now, for those of you who are watching at home, let me tell you what the last 3 questions are, because then you can think about them also. That would be good. In fact, it might be kind of hard to share your thoughts, just because they might be too much to put in the comment, for you to type. And it's not too much for me. I can read that just as well as I can what's on here. But at least it would get your mind thinking, and you would be along with us. And that's what we want to do. We want you to be engaged with us in this. And so here are the last 3 questions on our halfway-ish through Revelation Fun Times quiz. And it is fun. You should see the people in here and the joy on their faces and how much they're already having fun with this. So here are the last 3 questions. Number 1, or I guess this is number 18. If you had to narrow it down, which one judgment that we've talked about so far, which one is the worst? This is just your opinion. Which one is the worst? And by the way, we've made it through Revelation chapter 13. So And if you've missed some of them, that's okay. But like of the judgments that you have heard so far, which one stands out in your mind? You're like, ooh, that's terrible. All right, another one that's just your opinion. What is the one thing that you have learned in our study that stands out the most to you? What's the one thing that stands out most to you? And it could be anything. It could be one of the judgments. It could be, it could go back to one of the letters to the churches, or it could, it could be something totally unrelated. It might be like the big picture. I didn't realize it was going to be like this. I didn't think of it as being 7 years, or how the judgments were going to unfold. I don't know. Anything. What stands out to you? And then the last question that we will cover is, in what ways, if any, and by the way, I won't be offended because I know that it's still, it's difficult to learn new stuff. It just is, this complex kind of thing. But in what ways, if any, has this study helped you understand Revelation better? I hope there's some way, but if there's not, that's okay. It'd be good for me to hear it so that if I ever get to teach this again, maybe I need to teach it in a different way if nobody's learned anything. You know what I mean? So, yeah. There you go. Those are the last 3 questions. Something for you to think about. Here they are again. You can write them down. Write down a little note. If you had to narrow it down, which one judgment is the worst, in your opinion? Number 2. What's something that you have learned in our study that stands out the most to you? And then number 3, how has this helped you, has the study helped you understand the book of Revelation better? Now, if you'll just work on those 3 at home, and then once you answer those, you can go ahead and put those in the comment section if you'd like to be a part of our discussion here. And so while you're answering those and typing those out and sending them here, they can be working on the rest of it. And then you can follow along with us as we cover the rest of it. All right? And by the way, cheat. Cheat all you want. Seriously. Have fun. If it was the Christmas quiz, you couldn't cheat. I wouldn't let you cheat. But this one, cheat away.
You erased the board, we can't cheat. Too much going on right now.
What I might do for those of you who are at home, I will send this to Candace and she can put this online so that if you'll go to the resources tab right underneath this video, you could print this out. I don't know why I didn't think about that sooner. Yeah, you could do that. And then you can pause the video, fill it out, and then run it to see if you got it right. That's good. That would work. Looks like we got people coming and going. We're just filling out a fun quiz. So just hang on. We've got, if you need to go grab something to drink, we'll be back in about, we'll get started with this in maybe 4 minutes, something like that. And if you're watching this as a recording, you may just want to fast forward a little bit. About 4 minutes into the video, 4 more minutes into the video. I'm running them all from in here too, in case you're watching on video, yes. Ooh, I see a typo. What in the world? Ooh. All right. Got about 1 more minute. People are coming in online. They're so excited to hear all this. They're looking forward to seeing how much y'all know. We're taking grades and sharing them online. I'm just kidding. We're not really doing that. All right, I have got 6:45, and I totally understand that you have not finished. I get that, and that is okay, but we do have a little time factor here. And so, yeah, we'll go through this rather quickly, I think. And so if you are watching online, here are the fun things that they got to answer, okay? The first thing is, and by the way, this was, if you don't download it or whatever, if you don't get that, then it is multiple choice, at least most of them are multiple choice, so that it is a little bit more fair anyway. At least you got a fighting chance, just point at one, close your eyes and point at one. Okay, number one, who wrote Revelation? What?
John.
Yep, there you go, John, letter C. Very good. Number two, around what year did he write it?
Yes, I forgot.
I hear C.
D.
The answer is C. It is around the year 95. Paul was writing his stuff between 50 and 55. But remember, this was after, John was the only apostle left and all that. So what were the unique circumstances under which he wrote it?
C.
Yep. Also, letter C. I was pretty unimaginative in my letter selection, wasn't I? All right. What were the 3 sets of judgments called? I didn't know. That really is not a great question, but I didn't know how else to ask it.
B.
All right. Letter B. The seals, the trumpets, and the bowls. That is correct. I should have asked this. How many were in each one?
7.
7. There you go. Oh, man, maybe we did get somewhere. This is awesome. Wasn't that what?
That's a bonus.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. You get extra credit on your paper there. What passage in the gospel parallels the seal judgments in Revelation? Got it. There you go. Matthew chapter 24. Boom. No, we're doing good. I'm so excited. Okay. Now they get a little bit more difficult. Okay. Not terrible, but a little bit. Where is the outline of the book located?
That is D.
Oh, and she comes up with very, very confident. Yes, letter D. Revelation 1:19. Remember, he said, write the things which were, which are, and the things which will be. Now, just for our remembrance, again, this is a chance for us to kind of cover some things, but remember the things which were, that's Revelation chapter 1. Those are the things that, there's a vision that John had already, a vision that John received of things that already had been. The things which are, that's Revelation chapters 2 and 3. With the churches of Revelation, the letters to the churches of Revelation. Those were contemporary churches in John's day, and Jesus had a message for them. So that's the things which are. And the things which will be, that's Revelation chapter 4, all the way to the end. So that is the outline of the book. Very good. Okay, number 7. What is the book in Revelation 5:1? There was a book. What is that book? I hear B. Anybody else? I can't believe y'all didn't say D. But yes, it is B, the title deed to the earth. Satan had usurped it, and Jesus was there to take it back. That is what that whole chapter is about. Number 8, between which two, and this is good and hard. I like it. I like it. Between which two judgments do we hit the halfway point of the tribulation? All right. I hear B. I hear A from the same person. Yes. Hey, yeah. If somebody will say C and D, y'all have it all covered. Okay.
Say C and D.
The answer is D. So so the seal judgments are the first set of judgments, and only 5 of them are going to pass. And we looked at we threaded several different passages to get to this answer before, so I don't expect you to remember all of that. But one thing that does highlight for us is that as the judgments progress, as we get through the seal judgments, as we move into the trumpet judgments, and then especially one thing we haven't covered yet, we're getting there, are going to be the bowl judgments. So that as they are unfolding, they will be more intense and they will be more rapid. So that for the first 3.5 years of the tribulation, we only get through 5 seal judgments. And then after that, the last 3.5 got to cover the rest of those, just a couple more of those, and then all the trumpets, and then really quickly all the bowl judgments. So that is a good visual for us to see exactly how this is going to transpire. Okay? All right, so the answer there is D, between the 5th and 6th seal. All right, number 9. Who are the 144,000 in Revelation chapter 7? I hear B. All right, it is B, the Jewish people who will be saved during the tribulation. Now, what is the significance? So basically, I made up C and D, okay? An army of God and a heavenly choir, okay? I didn't make up A. Does anybody happen to know where A came from? There is a reason that I put that in there. The Jehovah's Witnesses believe that the 144,000 is the total number of people who will be saved, like throughout history. What now? Well, yes, they're having to redefine that now because they're starting to think, wait, if we say it's only 144,000 throughout all of history, there's going to be a lot of people who get left out. So, yeah, that's right. Yes. How can anybody else get in? Okay. So they're having to redefine that, but historically speaking, that is what they have taught for the first 90% of their existence. That only 144,000 people from the time of Jesus till now going to make it in. Maybe even before that. I don't know what they do with the Old Testament characters. But, yeah, that's why that's in there. So just know that that's not right, okay? It is incorrect. All right, number 10. What are the locusts in Revelation chapter 9, verse 3? They got a strange description, man. They're weird looking. What are they? Are they demons? Are they helicopters, which I've heard people say before? Are they actual locusts? Or probably more likely they are Savannah sand gnats. Yeah, that's right.
C,
All right.
C,
Anybody else?
I think it's A.
A? C?
It's
A,
A. A.
It is A. These are demons, which basically are Savannah sand gnats. But yes, the description that we're given of them is really a description of what kind of character they have and how awful they will be. Okay, number 11. Who kills the two witnesses in Revelation 11? See, this one isn't hard because it's written out right there for you. What now? I hear a B. Anybody else? It is the Antichrist who kills the two witnesses. Remember, nobody can kill them for 3.5 years. They want to, but they can't do it. They are untouchable. And then the Antichrist is he'll turn the tides on that. He will be allowed to. Remember, they won't stay dead, though. It's all part of God's plan. Okay, who is the woman in Revelation 12?
Jezebel.
I hear Israel, I hear Jezebel. It is A, it is Israel. That is symbolic for Israel, who gives birth to the child, to Jesus. All right? And finally, in this section, what are the 10 horns in Revelation chapter 13 and verse 1? Nothing specific. They just show the grotesque appearance of Satan. Or are they 10 actions that Satan will undertake to harm the world during the tribulation? Are they 10 sins that got Satan kicked out of heaven? Or is it a 10-nation confederacy that will rule the world during the tribulation? What are the 10 horns in Revelation 13:1? It is D. That is what they represent. And remember, we see that over in Revelation chapter 17. We look back at Daniel chapter 9 that we were just looking at last week or 2 weeks ago, that shows how the Antichrist is going to, he's going to be one of those horns, and he's going to overtake 3 of them and be leader over 3 nations. So, yeah, 10-nation confederacy that will rule the world during the time of the tribulation. Okay, number 14. How do the 3 characters, and again, this may not be the best worded question, this is just the best way I knew how to write it down. How do the 3 characters spoken of in Revelation 13, that's basically the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet, how do they mimic the one true God? The title that I gave them, and again, I'm sure this is not original with me, so I'm not trying to take credit, it's just how I remember it best. This is the unholy Trinity. They try their best to mirror the one true God. The demon, the dragon, Satan, is in control. He sends his devil child, the Antichrist, not literally, but figuratively, his devil child, the Antichrist, who is going to die and live again, just like Jesus did. And he's going to give his glory to the beast. And then the false prophet, his desire is to give glory to the Antichrist as well, just like the Holy Spirit does with Jesus. So it is the unholy Trinity. Revelation 10:10, he talks about a book that he swallows, and it is sweet, but then as it's going down, it gets bitter. Why is it both bitter and sweet? Don't remember? Okay.
God's truth was good. Bitterness will make you sad.
Okay. That's exactly it. Seriously. It is good because everything that we want to happen, which is for God to finally put an end to all this mess, to be the ruler, to punish the bad people, and to do right by the good people, and all that kind of stuff, all that we want to happen is finally, he sees it is going to happen. But in doing so, there is we use that term bittersweet, and I believe it probably comes from this passage. But it's bitter in that all the destruction that is going to have to take place and how people are going to have to suffer in order to see that come about. So that it is also bitter. All right, good. What is the abomination of desolation? We hear that phrase. It's used in Daniel a couple of times. It's used in the book of Matthew. It's also used in the book of Mark. What is the abomination of desolation?
Satan takes the throne of God.
Okay, very close. The Antichrist. Because Satan himself isn't going to do it, but the Antichrist in physical form will literally take the throne of God in the temple. And the other side of that is, if he's going to be brash enough to do that, he is also going to demand that he be the one who is worshipped. And of course, remember, the false prophet, speaking of him, is going to be the one who will be, he's like going to be the enforcer for that. So, yeah, Antichrist will ascend to the throne in the temple and demand to be worshipped. And just for fun, can anybody name the seven empires that have ruled the world? Just for fun. Anyone?
I don't have all of them.
Okay.
Babylonians,
Okay. Babylonians.
I don't remember who's first. The Assyrians,
Assyrians. That's good. Yep.
the Greek,
Okay.
and the Roman,
4.
and then the one I forgot.
Okay.
And the future one that's not done yet.
Okay. But that's one of them.
That's one of them.
Yes.
There's one I missed.
Okay. Let's see. Did you say Persia?
No.
Okay. You didn't say Persia. And then the very first one is Egypt.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, so in order, you have Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Persia, Greece, and Rome. And then there is one that is to come. So, remember, Revelation chapter 17 said 5 which were. That's the Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Persia, and Greece. One which is, that was in the time of John, which was the Roman Empire. And then the one that is yet to come, and that's the one that's basically the 10 horns. All right, very good. Y'all did good. Okay, now I can't answer these for you. You just got to tell me. And by the way, we're not in a, I know that we're not going to try to waste time, okay, but we don't have choir tonight, so we don't have to be out of here in 2 minutes. All right, so if you have an opinion, I want to hear it. If you don't, that's fine too. I'm not going to go around and call names, but if you had to narrow it down, and I know nobody's answered online yet, but it's not too late if you're watching there. If you had to narrow it down, which one judgment is the worst to you so far? Is there one that stood out there like, ooh, that would be awful?
They're all awful.
Well, that is true. They are all awful.
Locusts for 5 months.
Locusts for 5 months, because those are demons. And they torment. And they can't kill. So all they can do is,
He just messing with
yeah, leaving people. So I went out, and let me not make this too long. Homecoming dance this year for Calvary. My daughter was going to homecoming, the dance. She's a senior and all that. And so she and her friends and their boyfriends, or dates, just their dates at the time, got together for pictures. And we were out at I don't think it was the Vernon River. We were at somebody's house, and I don't think it's the Vernon River. It's the one that runs on the other side of Burnside Island. Is that the Vernon? Which one is it? Anybody know? Y'all, I'm not good with all that, with the rivers here. So we're there on the river, and we start taking pictures, and all of a sudden, the sand gnats, yes, the demons arrive, and it is nuts. Well, imagine, that's just annoying, and there's a little bit of sting to it or whatever, but mostly just itches. Can you imagine the torture, though, when those are real demons that you cannot get away from? All we had to do was go inside or get in our car or whatever. Can you imagine not being able to get away from them? So, any others? Anybody else?
I put down the fourth trumpet.
Uh-huh. Which one was that?
Um,
Help me remember.
where the sun and the moon and the stars were all struck half.
Oh.
Just destroyed the sun and the
Uh-huh.
moon. I can't imagine that.
Yeah.
The darkness and
The cosmic stuff going on. How fearful would that be to see that unfolding in front of you? Something you can't explain.
you can't get away from them.
Yeah.
That was like all the others, you can't get away from none of them.
Yeah.
They couldn't.
Anybody else? Nobody online? Okay, what about the next one? What is the one thing that really stands out to you about our study? And again, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be just a fact or whatever, but anything. Is there anything that stands out to you?
You won't have to experience it.
Okay, you don't have to experience. That's good. Yeah, that's nice.
Talk about that time there was silence in heaven, you know, for 30 minutes, how much was it?
Yeah, it's,
I don't know, the silence, everything just quit.
yeah. It's kind of eerie.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting because I didn't really think about it because it hadn't happened yet. But when we were talking about that, but I can't remember. I don't know if it was I don't know if it was a longtime friend of mine who's a pastor down in Florida. But anyway, during Helene, and when the eye went over them, and it kind of got quiet and still, and there's all kind of chaos around them, but for them it was just kind of eerie. And that's kind of what it'll be like. So, all right. And has this helped you understand the book any better? Has the study helped you understand the book any better? Is there something? I guess I'm trying to figure out if there's something I need to do differently.
I guess
No.
some reinforcement too, back earlier when you spent some time talking about the views, different views on pre-trib and post-trib and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, always been in agreement with your thought on the same way, and knowing that there are others out there that have different views, but when you really do research them, it makes sense, you know, how you have described it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, hopefully it makes us a little bit more, I hate to use this word because of its modern interpretation, our current day interpretation, but I mean it in a traditional sense. It helps make us more tolerant of people when we realize that other people who read the Bible and believe the Bible through and through, if they see it a little bit differently than we do, we're not in a place to say, you know, well, you must not believe then, you know? So. All right. Well, there you go. Wasn't that fun? Yes, that's why it's called Fun Times Quiz. And Patsy Parker loved it. She loved it as much as she likes for me to call her name. But I will not call Patsy Parker's name again. Not for the rest of the year on Wednesday nights. I just won't do it. Because I just don't want to put her in that position. I just don't want her to feel uncomfortable. So I'm not going to do it. Maybe in the new year I might, but no more in 2024 on Wednesday nights will I call Patsy Parker's name. Not going to happen. Because I want her to love me and accept me. So. Okay. What prayer request do you have? I know we got somebody watching online. I'm not sure who it is, but I know we got somebody. So if you got a prayer request, put that in the comments section.
Nancy's gone for the emergency room, I guess.
Nancy
Nancy,
Love?
no.
No. Nancy Chapman.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Wait a minute, say that again? Nancy Chapman went to the immediate emergency room, one or the other,
Huh. Tonight? Today?
today now.
Okay, she now. Okay. All right. Well, let's pray for Nancy then. Also need to pray for Nancy Love. She's been in the hospital. I haven't got an update, so I don't know if she's still there right now. But
Stan Vaughn.
let's pray for Stan.
Still, he's still not feeling, he hasn't been able to see a doctor, I think, y'all help, who else? There's
Richard Duke?
Richard.
Oh, Richard Purcell.
Richard Duke,
Pray for Richard Duke. Mm-hmm.
Richard and Betty Powell and Alicia.
Richard and Betty and Alicia. Betty Powell, she stopped by the church for something yesterday. It was good to see her out and about again. So,
Sylvia Baxter is still going through some stuff.
yeah, let's pray for Sylvia. Okay. All right. Well, let's go to God in prayer. We're only 6 minutes later than usual. That's not bad, is it? All right. God, you've heard the requests that we have, and there are many. I mean, if we if we really put our minds to it and stayed here long enough, and especially if we got personal enough, that would be a bunch. We could spend a lot of time lifting folks up, and even some things that we have going on in the room and people who are online. And it kind of gets mind-boggling after a while to think of all the needs that are out there. And then you add this season, this time of season, and everything is just enhanced. It's just magnified all the more. The people who are joyful are even more joyful, and people who are hurting seem to be hurting even more. God, you are the perfect answer for all that ails us. You are the perfect answer for all that is right with us. And so we lift these dear folks up to you, people that we care about, people that we, at least within this church, we interact with on a regular basis. And we thank you for the body of Christ, where we can lift one another up and hopefully encourage each other and remind each other that nobody is alone. But God, even in the times between the contacts and those kinds of things, I pray that people will sense your Spirit walking with them. And we thank you that when we talk about faith, we're not talking about something that's just blind, although sometimes it does have to be. But God, it's reasonable, and it is felt and sensed. And so I pray that people would sense you're walking with them through the difficulties that they face. We thank you for your love for us, and we do thank you for this time of year that is a reminder of the extent that your love went to come and walk among us. May our hearts be filled with gratitude and be able to focus in, whether we like the time of year or not, help us to focus in on what it really means, and be able to celebrate what you've done for us. So thank you for our time together tonight. We thank you for our study, and we look forward to being back again in the new year as we continue the study of Revelation and all that it means for us. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Thanks for hanging out with us. We will see y'all Sunday.